This is the Jug O Sip podcast.
Well, I want to talk about one very well, he's not that famous, but he's famous if you ever saw the show Taxi.
I've seen Taxi. I wasn't a huge fan though.
This tulpa is such an interesting tulpa because he's a tulpa that didn't exist in one person. He was a tulpa that existed in more than one person. There was a comedic actor by the name of Charlie Kaufman.
I've heard of, I thought it was Andy Kaufman.
I mean, sorry, Andy Kaufman. Charlie Kaufman's a different person. Andy Kaufman. Let me just make sure I'm looking at, hold up, because I got it pulled up here. All right, Andy Kaufman. Andy, that's who it is. Andy Kaufman had this tulpa by the name of Tony Clifton. Tony Clifton.
Oh, yeah.
Tony Clifton was an extremely unreasonable human being. Matter of fact, I'm gonna read it here.
He looks like a sleazy lounge singer.
That's exactly what it was.
He kind of looks like Earl from the Goodbye Earl music video.
Tony Clifton is a character created by performance artist Andy Kaufman, who also portrayed him in the 1970s. Characteristic of the many elaborate hoaxes and practical jokes Kaufman concocted. Clifton was not exclusively portrayed by Kaufman. Others, mainly longtime Kaufman friend Bob Zamuda, also performed the role. So this was a tulpa that had multiple hosts. This was crazy, and he was straight up a tulpa. Like it was the point where Tony Clifton had a negative opinion of Andy Kaufman separately from Andy. Tony Clifton, if you said that Tony and Andy were the same person to Tony Clifton, Tony would get angry at you. He would punch you in the face if you pushed him hard enough.
And Andy Kaufman wasn't like that at all.
And Andy referred to Tony like he was a different person as well. They spoke about each other like there was this falling out a long time ago between the two of them, and they can't be seen in the same room. And it's crazy. Kaufman would sometimes claim that Tony was a great lounge singer whom Kaufman encountered in the International Hotel in Las Vegas in 1969. He was waiting for Elvis Presley to arrive, so when he met him, so he could meet him. Sorry, he was waiting for Elvis Presley to arrive so he could meet him. Kaufman may have seen Clifton as the antithesis of the sweet, gentle foreign man character he was best known for, which was later adopted by, how do you pronounce that? Latka Gravis?
Let me see. Latka Gravis.
Yeah.
A fictional,
Latka Gravis, Kaufman's character in Taxi. Okay. So, here's the thing. Clifton was played by Andy Kaufman. He existed in Andy Kaufman. He existed in his friend Bob Zamuda. And later, he came back in Jim Carrey.
What?
Yeah.
Jim Carrey? So, was he a tulpa or was he a character?
No. Well, Clifton's a tulpa, but the thing is, he's a character-based tulpa. But the thing is,
can that happen? Can tulpas go from one person to another?
Well, it depends on the condition of the mind and how that person looks at that particular personality. Andy Kaufman decided to share his tulpa with people.
Oh, that's true. People can do that.
Yeah, Clifton was a character that Andy came up with that he stuck with so long that he became a tulpa that he just referred to all the time. Huh. Bob Zamuda also referred to this tulpa. When they did Man on the Moon, where Jim Carrey played Andy Kaufman, the biopic, an excellent movie.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey turned Andy and Tony into two different tulpas.
Yeah, because they were totally different people. Because
Jim Carrey method acted and got trapped inside of Andy, and there's a wonderful documentary on Netflix.
Oh, that's right, he did. Which is why, like, real talk, I'm an actor. Actors out there, I don't care what you say. Method acting should not be done. If you are truly a good actor, you should be able to dip in and out of that character without having to become them and absorb them. Too many people I know who have method acted have lost their fucking minds.
If I remember correctly, the technical term for method acting is called the Meisner method. I had a friend years ago who got into Meisner. He became a method actor. It completely warped his personality.
It ruined their lives.
It ruined, I know several of my friends and my mentor no longer talk to him because of what that method acting shit did to him.
I know a lot of method actors that I no longer speak to because they've basically warped their own brain.
It is the acting equivalent of going to the dark side and becoming a Sith Lord. Don't do it.
Acting is a part, like, you become part of that character, and you are not who you normally are, but you are so much yourself. Once the camera stops rolling, you are able to be yourself. If you are eating like
you can find us on Google and all social media at Jug O Sip Podcast.
New episodes release every Monday and Friday.